What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to give you 3 strategies that you can use to get really good at speaking in your target language. And I expect absolutely nothing in return except for a sub and maybe a back massage with some oil. The second one's more preferable. I'm like, fuck, where the hell am I going with this? Okay, let's get down to the actual meat of this video. So first up, how can I speak about this with any authority? Well, if you go check out the hundreds of Esperanto videos I've dropped on this channel, you'll see comments along the lines of, how the hell do you speak so fluently, so naturally, so fast, in a goddamn language where you cannot go to that country and immerse in it? Like, what the hell happened here, okay? And it's because I believe I did these strategies, okay? I implemented what I'm about to teach you in this video. Now, I'm not going to sit here like Mega Mind and pretend I knew about this shit all beforehand. I didn't. I stumbled into this completely unintentionally, with different intentions at the beginning, but it helped me massively with my speaking capabilities. So what is the first strategy? The first one is become a fucking YouTuber, bro. Okay, that sounds terrible, but let me explain and give you a little bit of backstory, and you'll see how this works, okay? So, back in the day, when Evildea had a lot more raging long blonde hair, he was fucking goddamn drop-dead gorgeous, okay? I was a blogger. And I was writing an article about YouTubers in Sydney, because this was kind of like a new thing at the time. And I remember I went to a YouTuber meetup and I met some YouTubers, and what they were doing sounded so fun that I was like, fuck this shit, I'm going to become a YouTuber. If anyone else out here can do it, I can do it. So I went home and I did what everyone else does, okay? I sat down, turned on the camera, and I was like, now I've got to talk about something. What makes me interesting? Why do people care about me or potentially care about me? Because, you know, I'm just another friggin' dude, okay? And then I was like, well, I speak this constructed language. I guess that makes me interesting. So I made a video about it. And I got like one comment in English, and I think the comment was along the lines of, you don't speak no other language, you bitch. Prove it. You know, something like that. And I was like, well, fuck, I'll show you, bitch. So then I made a second video. Now, the second video I was going to make completely in Esperanto. I was going to blow the pants off my one hater and show them that I was so much better than they thought that I was, okay? Even though they probably never rocked up or even realized that their hate created Evildea. But I decided to create this second video in Esperanto. Now, at the time, I thought I was a pretty good speaker of this language, okay? And I was. Well, I was to a degree, until I decided to make a video, a 6-minute long video where I was going to talk about something random. And I can't even remember what the topic was, but I remember I sat down, I made the video, and by the end of the video, I was like, that didn't sound so good. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, and I went back and I watched it. And here I was watching this guy who looked like he had a stroke, slowly speaking, making pronunciation mistakes, randomly using words wrong, freaking grammar points, the whole goddamn, yard. Everything was wrong. And I was like, I can't post this. This is fucking terrible. So what do? Well, I gotta get this video out. I promised it, okay? So I made another video. I did the same thing. Now, this time when I did it, I kind of knew where I was going to head with it. And it started to turn into a monologue, It was a monologue that was forming in the moment with the video. I started talking about the same topic. I may hit it slightly from a different angle, may introduce some new stuff, and then I'd bump into, certain mistakes I was making, certain pronunciation, certain words, or maybe I would say something in a way that I knew how to say it, but it was not my actual goddamn intention. It didn't have like that perfect little nuance I was going for. And each time I made that 6-minute video, I would either go back and watch it, or I just knew, okay, that there was mistakes I didn't like. It was not perfect. It was not me. So I made the video again and again. And again, and I swear to God, I must have made this video like at least 15 times, okay, in a row. And by the last one, if you watch that video and probably the first 50 videos of me speaking Esperanto on this channel and you look really closely, you might actually see like droplets of sweat on my face. I cooked my brain, because what had happened was, first I would say it, and then I'd fix my mistakes and I'd say it slightly faster, because I just started growing impatient. Each time I made the video, I was more impatient to get it done. And that impatience led to me speaking faster, because I was just trying to get it out. I was trying to puke it out, okay? And by basically my impatience and my constant desire to improve this video and to get it perfect, I was basically automating a very small select part of the language. And if you know anything about how the brain operates, and you've read some science here and there, or at least you read the headlines of science articles, you know that if you put your brain under stress, it generally learns better. Your brain recognizes that this is something that's important, okay? And basically I was putting my brain under a lot of stress, to the point where I was freaking sweating. In fact, you could probably say I was traumatizing myself. I was so goddamn over this video by the time I made it. But it was perfect. It was great. It was a masterpiece, okay? I hit upload as the happiest man in the world. And then comes the second part of the strategy. See, I got a comment, and it was in Esperanto from someone who spoke Esperanto, clearly a lot better than me. It was about a paragraph long, and it listed out every goddamn mistake at minutes 3 minutes and 31 and 26 nanoseconds. You fucked up. You dropped the accusative case, which changes the complete meaning of the sentence. At this point right here, you use the incorrect verb. That verb cannot be used in this. You know, it was a raging long hate post about how I fucked up the entire language, and I was a disgrace to everyone who spoke Esperanto before, basically. Now, I could have taken this along the lines and just wrote, you know, fuck you, don't tell me how to speak this language, I'm better than you type of thing. But I decided to start using this person as a free teacher. And in fact, I got a few of them. And the more I screwed up, the more comments I got, which meant the video got more engagement, and therefore more people started watching the channel just so they could hunt mistakes. Hell, I still get it to this day in English, okay? Helps with engagement if I make a mistake in English. So that's what I basically did. Not intentionally, obviously, with Esperanto. I wanted to be perfect, but it did help in some ways, okay? Now, the second video I made, it's just because I kind of enjoyed the first one. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist. Maybe I like just the pain and the abuse of it and like the hatred and everything I was getting. I was like, yeah, bitch, bring it on. Let's go round 2. So I made a second video, and then a third, and then a fourth. Now I realized I was making one every day, and I figured, well, I want to do this whole YouTuber thing. And YouTubers at the time who I was watching, like Markiplier and stuff, they were doing daily uploads. And I thought that was the thing. So, well, okay, well, I'll daily upload. And I committed publicly to this at the time, okay? So that meant I had to do it. I am a man of my word. So I publicly declared I would daily upload, and therefore I had to make a video every day, and therefore I was actually making 15 videos every day, at least for the first 100 or so, okay, because I had to make them perfect. I had to redo them, and boy oh boy did my language skills increase fast. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, 50 videos, that sounds like enough. No, do hundreds. The reason being is because the first 50 or so will be about topics you already have spoken about in the past. Maybe with a local group or, you know, with your friends or something. It's something that you've fallen back upon. You know, when you're sitting there awkwardly on a plane and you look to the person to the right of you and you're like, be funny if you heard someone jump up and say, Allah kabakba or something. I don't even, oh God, I messed that up. Allah kabakba, that's it, guys. Like, okay, I'm not trying to be bad or anything, but you know, like the standard conversation you have with people type of thing. Anyway, so, I'm going to get raged on in the comments for that one. Anyway, okay, so the first 50 videos will be about the standard stuff you've spoken about before. But when you get beyond that, you need to start spreading your wings. You need to start talking about new topics. Otherwise, people are going to stop watching. No one wants to hear the same shit over and over. Yet that seems to be what this entire channel is about, the same shit over and over. But you got to at least vary it, you know, add some difference to it. So you start talking about topics you've never spoken about before. I remember at some point I ended up speaking about bloody quaternions and 3D programming and how quaternions are so stupid because they're basically just a shadow in the 3D realm from the 4D realm in Esperanto. Okay, so trust me, I had to learn a lot of words for that type of stuff. Don't know where that video is. I'm sure someone can find it on this channel. But yeah, I spoke about all the types of things you could imagine, which means that I was learning to basically talk about every possible scenario I could ever be in. Even if I've never been in that scenario or I never will be, I was learning how to speak about it and speak about it fast. That is the difference between, say, someone who's really good in a very set scenario and then just completely falls over as soon as the conversation goes into territory they've never spoken about before. If you do this for 365 videos or more, 500 I think I did, you're going to get goddamn good. Okay, now that's point 1. Let's talk about strategy number 2. I guess I was strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is teach the goddamn language. Now, you don't have to do this with other people, although it would be better. But teaching a language. Now, I never intended this as part of my learning strategy. And you might be thinking, how can this help you get better at speaking? This was kind of unintentional. I got asked to teach Esperanto basically locally because, you know, I was well known, and I decided to take them up. I was like, okay, well, this can't be too hard. I already speak this language pretty damn good. So I started teaching it, okay? And of course, I got students from different backgrounds, and they would ask the most random goddamn questions about why is the language doing this in this specific instance? Why is it not this? Why is it, you know, why does this have this specific meaning? Or could I possibly use this verb in this scenario? And I would be sitting in these moments, or standing, because I was normally teaching standing, going, I actually don't know. I don't know why, because I've never thought about it that way, and that's not how I talk. So, naturally, I would go research the question. And if you ever dive down into something and you research it, all that research helps you to really kind of cement your understanding of whatever it is that you're trying to answer at that point. So if you want to get good, try teach it. Now, you don't need to teach someone. Try teach it to yourself, okay? So for example, you could ask, why is something this way, okay? And then answer it. If you know the answer, answer it. And then act as if you're the student. Ask yourself, why is it, why is that the result of that? Okay, just keep digging down into it. And eventually you're going to hit a point where you're like, not really sure why. And if you can answer that with a language, around how certain things function in a language, that means you've gotten pretty damn good at it, okay? Which leads nicely into my third strategy about how to automate things. So a lot of the difficulty with automation is that there's just certain things that it doesn't seem right when we say it, okay? Like, why is it like this, okay? And you just kind of hit that brick wall of, it just doesn't feel right, okay? But it is. This is like where it's right, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right to say it like that for whatever reason, okay? And it may be because it breaks a rule. It's not regular. It doesn't follow the patterns of the language, or it's just strange. Or maybe there's multiple words, okay, that have the exact same meaning, yet seem to be used in different scenarios, and you don't know why it's acceptable in scenario A but not scenario B. And people, when you ask people, they're just like, because it is, it's just that way, accept it, bitch. But there has to be an answer, right? And usually if you dive into it, there is, and that will help you get good at using it correctly. So maybe you might be going, okay, why does the ending change, for this class of nouns but not this other class? Or, why is it this way or that way? It's probably a phonetic reason. And if you look into that and you understand the history behind it, then you understand, oh, it makes sense why this word's this way, and it will help you with all future words that fit into that category. Or if two words are very similar or even exactly as similar yet used in different instances and there seems to be no crossover or some type of crossover, look at how they evolved. What's the etymology behind them? Maybe they came from different cultural areas and then they were both adopted by the language, but in one cultural area they were used one way and another way. All of these things about studying the history of it, specifically with proverbs and stuff, will help you understand it on a deeper level and therefore help you to use it more, I guess, freely, but I was going to say in a way that makes you feel more confident about its use, and therefore you won't fall back upon that old pattern. So to summarize, the 3 strategies is 1, produce a lot of content in the language and try to make that content perfect and really cook your brain and dive into your mistakes. Don't just let them fly, dive into them. 2, try teach the language, either someone else or yourself, okay? Teach those aspects of the language that are really, really difficult. They really messed with your mind for a while. And then 3, basically for anything that just doesn't seem to fit right, like why is it that way? Why is it said this way or something? Dive into the history of the language, the culture. There may not be an answer, okay, but just the exploration itself will help you cement this a bit more. There may be bullshit answers, about, people think it's this way, but it's not true. But just diving into it, even those bullshit answers give you something to hook into. Anyway, that's my 3 strategies. Hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you've got any others down in the comment section. And I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, well then, my friend, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night with someone else back rubbing you.